Good morning. Good afternoon, or is it good night? Welcome to our page today, Ranjos and Fun Code. So this is a page where we said we'll be doing some coding and some things that are fun. So I'm grateful that you've joined us today. And today, the topic I've chosen is what we call SQL. So all I want is to have go through SQL, and basically I want to take people through that. I've noticed that some of the people have some issues with SQL, and when you take SQL, I'll majorly use Microsoft SQL, and I hope by the end of this lesson or uh, coaching, you'll be familiar with SQL. Again, we also do personalized coaching. So if you want to a personalized coaching on SQL, specifically my Microsoft SQL, you can hit my inbox or you can just DM me. Also, there'll be a contact there, and we can be able to do that. So today I just assume that most of us are familiar with how to install, but if you guys want me to do a video on how to install specifically Microsoft SQL Server, I'll do a video on it. So you can just comment on the comment section and just say that you need guidance on how to install. So basically, we work with the Express or because it's free. Because the others you have to pay for them. Also, the developer version is free, but I think for just practices, you can just choose the Express one. So I'll just dive right into the action, and because I've already installed the SQL, all I need to do is just open the SQL. You just need to go to the start button and then just type SQL. So you might get many things, but when I hit the space and just start typing the name management, it's supposed to filter. Sorry, I just meant SQL Management Studio. So this Management Studio is where we will be doing all our coding, and as it opens, all we need is all we need to do is wait for it to open, and we're good to go. Yeah, there we go. So I'm just using the SQL 2016 for me and for practices. So you can choose. I think we have. I think currently we have up to 2019. So I think I've worked with the 2008, 2012, 2014, and now 2016. I've not worked with 2019, but what happens is basically the syntax is still the same because SQL, as we know, it means structured query language. Good. So there being an introduction class, so we're just gonna be going through the main points, the main things that you need to be familiar with, so that understand SQL. So the first thing is you have to know the server or the instance that you're logging into. So for my case here, you can see that I have this one is another one. It's a separate server, but I want to connect my own, that is the localhost server. So I just have to choose antoh, which basically is the one that I have installed, and then all I need to do is SA standing for system admin or system administrator, and then password. So you can just input the password. But if you never did the password, we have two ways of logging in into SQL. So we have the SQL Server authentication, where you have to provide a username and a password. But we have also the we have several, but the mostly used, or the most common are the two, Windows and SQL. So when you say Windows, you don't have to give a password; it automatically connects. But for me, I will use SQL. So these are the things that you set up when you doing the login. So again, when you're doing the installation, when doing the installation, you have to choose what you want to install the SQL server, I mean the authentication, is it mixed mode? You can choose whatever way you want to mix it, or it's the Windows authentication. So you just choose what you want. So I'll just go on and um, the password. Anyway, most of the people say that I'm fast in talking. So just in case you notice that I'm fast in talking, you can just comment or ask a question in the comment, and I'll just hit up. Answer you. So when you choose to remember the password, it's simple because you don't have to repeat the typing of the password. But for me, I don't like it because when you have data here and then somebody lands to your computer, it's easier for them to do something to your data. So I'll just go on and log in, and good. Here we are, and then we connected to Anto, which is our instance of the server that we want to be working with. So basically today, being an introductory class, we just do the introduction on the basic on how it is. So as you can see, the highlighted one is the server or the instance name that is called Anto. For my case, I don't know for your case, most probably it will take the name of the computer or the name that you give it when installing. I mean the default instance, which for me is that. And then we have databases. So in this folder, let me just call it folder for now, and then we have plus button. So this is where you create all your databases. So for security, this is where all the logins go and all those things. So when you go to server object, so here we have a lot of items. I just go through them. So backup drive. So when you want to do backups, these about endpoints. Link server is where you want to link two servers. For example, you can see I've tried to link some several servers. You may need to link servers just to get data, or SQL has a lot of functionalities. Yeah, but I think I don't want to mention much details here today, being an introductory part. I just want to know you to know that you can link servers. For example, if you have, for my case, I have different servers where I link, and then you're able to work with them. Okay, we have triggers. Triggers are just what we call how can I explain them? I mean, triggers are just things to trigger. I mean, how you trigger things. For example, you want something to happen when you insert a record. So here you can put all the triggers and all that. Maybe you want when you insert a record and then you want some other tables being updated. So that's a trigger, an action that makes a trigger. Trigger is something that when you do something, it triggers a particular action. Yeah, but this is an advanced stage, so we just put up there. They have replication, as it sounds, just about replication and all that. So I'll just skip all this and then go to SQL agent. So we have server SQL agent. This is a very powerful and important thing to take note. We have jobs. This is where, for example, you have some tasks that you need done at a particular time of the month, at a particular time, at a particular day, or with a particular occurrence, or period and all that. So here you can set all that. You can create a job to do that. For example, let's say you have a database where you do rent collection, but you want at each end of month or at a particular date, you want all the tenants updated, the account for the tenants updated to 0, so that it can mark that a new month has started. So you can just do all those things. It's a job. You can just do that. You want some particular stored procedure, called at a particular interval. You can do all the setup here. Right. I think we good, and now I think I'll just dive into one of the databases. For me, for you can be having no database, but for me, I have tons of databases, as you can check, because I have lots of clients I work with, lots of training that I do, and as you grow, as you work with them, and as you interact with lots and lots of information, I can assure you, you'll be having many than than mine. Good. So I'll just pick one database so that it can be easier for us to do, this introductory class. And for me, I want to take, yeah, this is the database I want to use. So reason being is the most updated, is the most that it's the latest database that I've been working on. So it's easier for me to do, training with. Okay. So when you choose a database, it's good to always note what you are working with or the database that you're working with, because it may give you trouble when you're trying to execute a query for one database but in another database. So I'll just go through the structure of that database, which is similar to all the others. So when I expand this, excuse me, so we have database diagrams, right? So here it's where you create all your diagrams, but for me I don't have, so I will just skip those. And then we have tables. So this is where you have all your tables. When you create a table is just a collection of rows and columns. In another word, tables are called stat tuples. So it's just uh, columns and rows. A collection of all those makes a table. Good. I have quite a number of them, and yeah, those are good. I'll just close this, or collapse this, and then we have views. For me, currently I don't have any views, but in other tables I have views. But basically, the views, this is where you have uh, uh, queries that read data from different tables. You may be having several tables, and you want to pick data from all the tables rather than having to write a query in your code and all that. You can have a view that connects all those databases and then returns that data as just one uh, table. You just have to call that view. External sources. Let's keep those for now. And then the other one I'll go to is programmability. So under programmability, you have different items. You have stored procedures. For me, I have lots of them. So stored procedure basically it's a procedure to do something. A set of command, that execute some particular code, right? Just a set of code that has something. For example, let me just give you an example. You want every time you input a record, maybe for example, let's say going back to my example tenant, when you create a tenant, you need a particular number or form. You can do that using a stored procedure. So basically, stored procedure, you can do lots of things. It's just how you wanna work with them, but I think we'll go through a few so that you can be able to see later in the this program. Thank you for that. And then we have functions. And then the functions, we have different functions. For example, if I go to tabular functions, I don't have any functions, so I'll just go through this. But I have, I think, Scala function. For example, this one is for date. Something to do with it. So if I go to modify, so that we can just can be able to, I'm just going to see a simple way to explain to you what is a function. Basically, it's just a simple thing that you write to do a particular thing. For me, you can see it's just something to help me come up with a particular type of date. So we'll go through this. I don't want to go through this at the beginning of this, so I don't want to lose you. Yeah, so basically, the folders that I've not concentrated with is because most of the time we won't use them. So most common ones are programmability, and then you have views and tables. So the others one like security, those are just security on this. Who is supposed to? All the users that have I think access to this database, what they can do, and all sorts of things. But I think we won't do that. Oh, that was quite a long one, but we could. So basically, in a nutshell, that is what we call the structure of the database. And good. So far, so good. Unless you have a question, just drop it on the comment box, and yeah, I'll be very grateful to answer you. So, right to the code, I'll just use this database. So, for when you have a new database, you can do quite a particular number of things. But before we go there, let's just because we have a lot of things, I just want to do the introductory part, and let me just have a new query here. Not, I'll just do an instance here. Not so. Note that when the database that is selected is the master database, meaning I've not selected any database. So I'm in the master database. I mean, not in any particular database. So the reason I've done that is because there's a particular thing that I want to do. I want to show you what we will be doing. Good. So this being the number one, we have all these that I need us to do. So these are the most common things or the most important things to know in the SQL. So the first one is how to create a table. But before I go to create a table, I think we'll have to create a database. So I'll just show you how to create a database. So to create a database, we have two ways. The first way is through the user interface, and the second way is through the code. So what do I mean by that? So I'll create a database called example code or example UI, or yeah, example UI standing for example user interface, and then an example code so that you can differentiate the two ways of creating. So to create using user interface, you come here and then you click on databases and right click on your mouse, and then you just go to new database, and then it will ask you for the name and all that blah blah, and then you have to answer. I mean, you have to fill. For example, we have said I'll just call it example. So there are two ways to do this. There are two ways to do this. We have example UI, or I can just do example UI. So it's how you want. So I'll just go with that example UI, and then you can specify all the other things, but generally you don't need to go through all this. So immediately you have your name, database name. You just say okay, hit OK, and we should be good. Good, yeah, and it's not a must to refresh, but I'm used to that. I do a lot of refresh just to take any changes that have taken place. So if I go to example UI, good, and here we are. So we have example UI, meaning the database has been created, just like the one I was trying to explain too. We have tables, we have views, and we have all these other things that come with the database. So the second way of creating a database is using the code. So using the code, all you need to do is select the databases folder, and then hit new query, and then all you need is to write the code to do the creating of the database. Create database. So create database, and then you give the database name. So our database name, for example, we'll call it example code, and then all you need to do is hit execute. There we go, successfully created the table. So if I do a refresh here, all I need when I come, and I think good, here we have our database created. So that is all about creating database, and that's all. Good. So that is that. I think we're done with that, creating a database. Unless there's a question, just comment on my do ask on my comment, and then I'll be glad to answer you. And then the next thing I'll do is I'll try to create a table in that database that we have already created. So even let's use the code one. I think it's easier. I mean, I'll just go by the both of them. So creating a table, we have two ways. We can use the UI or the code. So I'll just create a table in the UI using the UI. So all you need to do is expand your database, go to the tables folder, right click on that, and then go to new and hit the table option. So guys, don't worry about my video, if there's a lot of noise, I'm working on to improve that, and yeah, so the next video should be good, clear, and all set. So all you need to do is provide some fields. So for me, I'll just take student as example. So for a table students will be, we can create, some particular things that are related to a student. For example, in a student table, we can have a student number, student ID, let me just call ID, which we can say it's an int, and then we can have student first name. No, let's just say first name. First name, which is a varchar. So I'll just say a varchar. Varchar, and then I can give it a limit of around 20 because I think 20 is a good thing. A good thing. And then we'll have last name. So a varchar with a limit of 20. So I can also have what else? Let's say age. Yeah. Let's have it as an int, just because it's an example, and then we can have a class, which class or grade, depending on which curriculum you're using. So we can have a grade or class. Let's have it as an int. Good. And so we have a student ID, first name, last name, age, and class. And all you need to do is just save the table. And then if they ask for you for the name, we have this table called student. But for me, I love naming my tables in a way that I'm able to know it's a table by giving them an initial TB student. Basically, it's not how it's supposed to be done, or it's not a mandatory. Let me just use the name. It's not a mandatory. It's just for me so that when I see a TB, I know that's a table. So let me just use that TB student. Because we have like views, I name it. I give them a prefix of VW and all that. So it depends with how you want. It's on your liberty on how you want to name them. So we have the student and we hit OK. And I think we're good to go. So when I go to UI and maybe refresh the tables, and I come here, yay! We have the table, student table. Now I'll just go to the other one so that we can be able to create the table using a code, and then I'll just expand this, the example code, and then I say tables, and no, I'll just highlight the table one, select, and then hit a new query. So all you need to do is hit the create button. Take the create code, that is the create table, and then you have the table name, TB student. Then all you need to do is do a close, you open and close the bracket, and then here you have to give the parameters that we typed. For example, we can start with the student ID and then give it an int and then a comma. So assuming we want it not to be null, you can specify here not null. Sorry, I didn't show you how to set all these conditions in the UI table, but I'll make sure that I show you that. And then we have a comma, and then you can have student, first name, sorry. And then this is a vector. And then let's give it a limit of 20 as previous one. And then we have last name 20. This one is supposed to be a vector. Sorry, it's supposed to be with the brackets. So here we go. And here we just need to do that. Yep. And then we have age, which we say is a name. So by default, when you don't specify, by default the SQL will have it as null. So it's just like doing this. So when you say null, it means this thing can, when you insert a record, this thing, it's an option. Somebody might fill the first name or not, so it won't have any effect. When you say not null, SQL demands that every time a new record is inserted, this item must be present, and I think we'll have to see that in action. And then we have, so notice that when it's a varchar, when it's a character varchar, we have to specify, but when it's an int, we don't. So the last one is class, and then we need to say class, and then give it an int, and yep, that's all we need to do. And if I execute, good, here we go. And then if I come here and I refresh tables, yay! There we go. I hope that you're also having, a success on your side, and we good to go. And guys, that's all about creating a table using the code and using the UI version. And good. I think we're making progress. So we have created a table. So I think I need to remove this one. Good. We need to do the next one is, so these two we're not gonna do those today. I think let's just leave this for the other part and have this okay. So let's just not do this, and I think let's just do this 4 of them, and then we'll handle this on the second video, because these are a bit, not, I don't want to put them on the introductory part, because I think they might not. I mean, let's do the fourth one. We will handle this on the next video. So we have the select one, update, delete, and then attach to. So for us to perform select, update, and delete, which are the most key things that we will be using: the insert, the update, the select. So to select is just to extract data, as I've explained here, extract data from a database. Update is to update data in the database, or delete, we just have to delete, to delete the data from the database, and insert is, adding a new record to the database. So I'll just start with the insert, because we need to do an insert so that we can have we can be able to perform the rest of the 3 actions. And for this, I'll just use the code database, example code database, and I'll do an insert to the table student. So do an insert. All you need to do is, select the table, the database that you want to work with, and then open a new query. Now I want to teach you a trick. So when you open and you're not sure which database you're working with, all you need to do is be checking here. So notice what happens. Currently, I'm being told that I'm in example code, but when I move to the next tab, it shows me that I'm in master. And when I go again, it still says I'm in master, but when I come here, it tells me that I'm in code. But if you're not sure which tab you are and you forget, it's good you use you use the keyword use, and then the database, for example, you're using is example code. And then when you execute your code, it will only be impacted on use on this database and not in any other database. So it's quite a good thing to check on that, so that you don't mess up with your data, or you just, when you're working with very important information, you may, mess up the information, and you know have to do a lot of things to recover the data. Good. Now we have example code, and then we have already selected the database. So I'll just perform the insert here. So it's basically to insert data. So I'll just say insert. Note I like using capital letters for readability. So insert into. So this is how you insert data to that database. Insert into TB student. Sorry. And then, you have to do this, and then give the column names. So if you don't remember the column names, all you do is you expand your table, and then you have columns, and then you have to do all this, and then you can be able to see your column. So all you need to do is insert into that table. So we have student ID. Sorry. So I'll just copy it. It will make my work more easier. I mean, sometimes being lazy is the best thing, because lazy people always find the shortest way to do something. But I'm not encouraging laziness, but they say lazy people always find the easiest way to do something. So it's just like typing out, but for the purposes of time, I just want to save on time. Yep. And there we go. So note that I'm separating my columns with a comma. And then here all you have to do is say values. Now these are the actual values that you want to insert into the database. So for student, I'll just say 1, and then for a character, which is a vector, you have to use the quotes. Sorry guys, I think I just changed my keyboard. Oh, sorry, I'm using the wrong keyboard. That's why I'm having troubles doing. Yeah, good. We go. So I think I changed my keyboard and I forgot to reset it back. So I'll just do that, and then I'll just choose my name, Anthony, and then we have the student, and then the last name we have Smith. And then we have age, which we can say is 20, and then we have class, let's say it's 5, and that's all we have to do, because we are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we only have 5 records. So all you need to do is execute this query, and good, we have that. And then when I come here, note, it's something we did about not now. So just to demonstrate how it works. So assuming I would have tried to ignore this column, which is not null. So we want to insert under student. let's say John, and then he's 29, and then he's in class 7. So note what happens. The statement cannot insert a value null. See, because we already specified and say that we don't want it to be null. So that's basically what it means when you say it's null. And that's all about inserting a table. If you have a question, kindly let me know. Good. And we're making progress, and I hope you guys are enjoying the class. And then we are done with inserting, and then the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna select whatever we have inserted in that table. So to select, the syntax is select all. Now all in SQL is represented by asterisk from, and then we have to specify the table that we want to select data from. For our case here is TB student, and all we do is hit execute. Oh, there we go, success. And then we've been able to select data that we've entered here. We have a student ID, we have a first name, we have a last name, and all these. So basically, that is all about selecting. I mean, nothing much. Good. So the next thing we want to do is update this data, update this record. So updating is just modifying any of the items that are there. So let's say we did a mistake. For example, instead of Anthony Smith, it was supposed to be Anthony John, but we need to update that. So all you need to do is just come and say update. The syntax will be update what table, that is our table which is TB student, and what do you want to do? Set. Now what do you want to update? Last name, that is the last name. We want it to be John, for example. Where now, assuming you had tons of records, maybe from number 1 to 10, or you have like 10 students, how do you specify? You need to specify so that the SQL can know what record has to be changed. So maybe, for example, you had student, assuming student is the unique identifier for each and every student. So for my case, I'll assume student is the unique identifier or the primary key. So those are the things that we'll be doing the next class, so that we can be able to see the difference. So all I need to do is where. For now I don't need to specify, but for the purposes of learning, let's just use it. Where student ID, ID is equals to 1, because if we had many records or many students, it would have not been easier to specify. I mean, to just say like when you just say update last name to John, it will update everybody in that data in that table, which we don't want. So it's good to just specify. This is how you specify the where clause, and I think we had mentioned that we will use the where clause. I don't know why it's not here, but this is how you specify. So all I need to do is execute, and when now I select all from TB student. Now note, if I hit execute, it will update and then select, which you don't want. You must be very careful when you have to queries which are active. You have 2 ways you can be able to execute without doing a lot, because this can be something to you may not want to update, or it might be delete, or you don't want to execute them at the same time. So you can select this one and then hit execute. So SQL will just execute the selected query, or you can just commenting the query that you don't want to execute is just by having a dash dash or a minus sign, two of them on that query, and then when I hit up execute, you just execute this one. So we have successfully updated our last name, and I think we good. That's all about updating, and then uh, we have to delete. Oh, have to delete. So we need to delete, and to delete is just simple. You just have to come and say delete. We just use capital letters. So let me just have it here. So delete from TB student. Sorry. Now, if you say delete from TB student, if I execute this, assuming we had many records, it will delete all records. So just as we did with update, assuming we wanted just to delete one record, you have to specify which record. So I'll just assume we have many records, and then I'll just give, sorry, I'll just give where I want, to delete. So I'll just come and say where student ID is equals to maybe 1. And that's all you need to do. So I'll just have to delete that. And now if I just do a select from that table, sorry, so let me just comment this one just for in case somebody was trying to do the same on the other side. So I'll just select this one and execute. And there you go, we don't have any data because we already deleted. So for our next class, I'll just, for those interested, I'll just put my email there. You can DM me. I'll be sending up a CSV file so that we can learn how to upload a CSV file, which will be having lots of records so that we can upload them. And when you upload them, so that at least we can save on time to insert, so that we can do other things in the class. Good. I think that is where we're gonna stop our class for today. I'm grateful that we have been able to do all that. And in case of any question, in case of any if you want any personalized training, we do it at a very affordable price. And yeah, we'll take you through so that at least we can have you working with SQL seamlessly. It has been a pleasure having you. Till next video, stay safe. Thank you.